Catherine Mitchell. I'm Senior Account Executive at the Washington Nationals. Typically, primarily, you think it's a man's world. It's sports, that's what that attracts. That's what, you think every young kid wants to grow up and, either play sports or work in sports. But for a woman, it's interesting because you have to kind of prove yourself. It's not all easy, for sure, because a woman is deemed whiny if you speak your mind. But it's really just proving yourself. I think that being a woman in sports is kind of an honor in a way because we're kind of breaking the mold, like shattering the glass ceiling, so to speak. And I don't think any woman should be afraid to work in sports. Like it's hard work, it's great work, it's fun work, it's entertainment, and not to be, objectified. You're just as good as the guy down the street, like the guy down the hall, whatever. I think women have to prove themselves more. That's just what it is. It is what it is the phrase. But it just makes you stronger because you work hard.
My name is Jennifer Picardo, and I'm a staff accountant with the Washington Nationals Baseball Club. I think nowadays, even our company here at the Nationals, so many of the women that work here are department heads or VPs, and it's amazing to see because I think 10 years ago it wasn't like that. It was pretty much a man's business, and now seeing all these women being promoted and really kind of being the face of some of these departments is really awesome, and it's admirable. It's amazing to see. Plus, women often push other women harder than men do just because they want you to be tough and they want you to succeed, which is really great. But yeah, I think working as a woman has been eye-opening in a good way, and I've realized kind of how tough I am and that, I can hang with the guys, and I enjoy that aspect a lot.
Lisa Marie Zopp. I'm the Senior Director of Events and Operations for the Washington Nationals. So I am in the ballpark operations department, and basically anything that happens in this building goes through us. So we do all internal, external, and game day events, the logistics, the execution, working with the building to support it. And then for baseball games, just making sure the building's ready to play baseball. So never a dull moment. We don't really get an off season because there's always events to be planned.
I'm responsible for group sales, so I primarily do like the large group events. We have ladies' night, which attracts about 12 to 1,500 women, usually on a Thursday night. I do large scale events like Pups in the Park. That's kind of my baby. We've grown it from very little to doing 6 Pups in the Parks per season, and that attracts about 1,000 people and about 300 dogs. So and then I do other events like Catter Day, and also do large group, I can't think of it, like hospitality, sorry.
I do all the baseball operations accounting, so that includes minor league player development contracts, all the auditing of player payroll, which is pretty exciting, and meal money throughout the season, a bunch of stuff relating to baseball operations, which I really love and I'm interested in.
I was here when this was a pile of dirt. So we were giving hard hat tours, and it was a very small staff. It was a very new organization. Things were set forth by MLB, but when the learners own the team. And it's been an evolution. I've seen people come, I've seen people go. I've seen our staff grow. I've seen a lot more focus.
When I was getting ready to have my first kid, my son, Catherine, who you just spoke with, was a huge resource to me about daycare and about managing things like nursing, and was just a huge resource in how to figure out how to work a non-traditional job and be a mom.
8. I was the first female here at the Nats to be pregnant, have a child. That was back in 2010. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do with me, really. I mean, like, what do we give her time? You know, what are we supposed to do with her salary? Did we, you know, I kind of paved that way. So they come to me a lot. And since then we have, oh gosh, 10 of us or 12 of us that have children. And we talk about what it's like being a mom, working in sports. And there's, you know, all different departments, all different levels. And at the end of the day, we have each other's backs. There is some competitiveness, but that's just it. I'm in sales, that's the nature of it. I think for a woman and for the camaraderie, I think that it's like, I got you, girl. You know, it's like, well, I really enjoy those mom lunches because we know what it's like to work hard and then go home at the end of the day and have another job. You know, you have children to take care of.
It occurred to me kind of after that, and as more people got pregnant, that it would be good to have a resource for new moms, or not even new moms, but any moms working at the Nationals, to be able to talk to each other, because we're such a unique subset. There's lots of women who work in sports, there's lots of people who work in sports, but working mothers working in baseball, which has the most home games of any sport, it's a very small group. I'm glad I started it. It's created some really great friendships between VP level and manager level. Like there's no titles when you're a mom. You're all in the same boat. You're all trying to figure out how to get your son to t-ball practice, or how to make sure you don't, when you get the phone call from daycare that your kid's sick, like who's going, mom or dad? It doesn't matter what you do, you're all facing that same challenge. And if that happens on a game day, that's something that you can't really talk about with people that are outside of the industry. They just don't understand that it's not just like, oh, I'm missing a meeting. It's, oh, I have to grieve media for Bryce Harper's whatever. So it's just a unique environment, and it's given us a great way to talk to one another about the unique challenges we have.
Few of the other people that you've spoken to are part of the moms group, and I'm not yet a mom, and I don't know how many teams in MLB do that, but I just love the fact that the Nationals have that option, and it's helpful because if you are a woman in this industry and you do at one point want to have kids, it's nice to know that they still support moms and want you to be able to be a working mom and not like, oh, you had a baby, you're kind of out of it. So I really appreciate that they have that, and looking forward to hopefully someday, you know, being a part of that and just even picking their brains on stuff that, like, how is it? How are you surviving?
I mean, there's something to be said about I have 2 boys, and being able to bring your kids to where you work, putting them in the Nationals jersey, and being able to sit with them and show them what mommy does during the day. That is something, again, that most people can't replicate. So I think, again, looking at kind of long-term, the parent life, the work life, that is something that's it's not as tangible, it's not money, it's not hours, but there is something to be said about having those kind of moments with your kids that not a lot of people get to do.